And so what are some of your practices now? I know there's practices you're teaching, but what are some of the practices? I know gratitude was a practice you moved into, and I'm curious, what are some of the practices you're most drawn to now?
Yeah,
For
so I would say Vipassana is my primary meditation practice. It's changed somewhat since Calm. I think my interpretation of practice, I think that since becoming a teacher, I'm a little bit more flexible in my practice. I was so hardcore before. I think I'm just a little bit more compassionate and want to make sure that that the practice is accessible to people. So it's changed a little bit. In terms of my gratitude practice, it's gratitude was a real challenge for me for most of my life. I come from childhood trauma, and I feel that most of my life, for decades, there was a lot of struggle. I didn't really have a lot of career success until very late in life, and a lot of financial instability, and I had physical issues, and so there was a lot of anger and resentment and fear, and the feeling of it's me against the world. So in that space, there's not a lot of room to be grateful. So, it was a really deliberate choice to choose gratitude. And I think it's only because of my practice that I recognized how important it was for me to develop gratitude because I had so little of it. And so, so I had to work really, really hard. And I had a good friend of mine have you listened to our sleep stories at all?
No.
Okay, you have to listen to them.
I will.
So one of my best friends is named Chris Advinson. He writes some of my favorite sleep stories. And his gratitude practice has always been incredible. I've known him for over a decade. And so he helped create this little game that we would play that I share in a gratitude masterclass that I created for Calm, and it's called Gratitude Countdown. And basically the way it works is that anytime we want, we would call out Gratitude Countdown, and the person
You're texting or?
No, generally when, we go for a lot of walks and that
person.
Sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's always in person or on the phone. And we basically do a count off 10 to 1, and the other person has to list 10 things they're grateful for. And so this became a regular part of our friendship. And I also did it on my own, where I would, challenge myself to come up with 10 things that I was grateful for. And when you feel like there is nothing to be grateful for, it is really, really hard. And so you kind of go through. You just go through the motions and you say the words, and they don't mean anything, but you still say them. And after a while, it began to change, and I began to feel the words, and my practice began to shift. And basically, my relationship with life really changed. I never really thought about gratitude as being like a part of my practice before. And it's really over the last 5 years that I would say that it's grown. And as I've committed to it, it's really strengthened.